Hello, it's Irene in here. So today I am bringing you another visual novel demo, and I decided to play this one because I know nothing about it, but I think the visuals are just gorgeous. It's called Love and Country, and I think it's fully out. Let me check. Yeah, it's fully out. I think it's like 15 bucks. I don't know. In here, at least it's 15 euros. I don't actually know in dollars, but usually it's kind of like the same, so it's probably the same thing. Developer Guhuhu Games. Guhuhu. Okay. And it says about this game, the year is 1916. And the world has been embroiled in a war greater than any before it. Only kilometers from the front, Lillian Sinclair trains in the art of seduction as an American spy for the French intelligence agency, the Deuxième Bureau. As the war intensifies, Lillian is suddenly thrust into her first assignment: rescue a fellow agent deep in the enemy territory. Caught off guard, she has to juggle her inexperience and her complicated feelings for Emile, her reluctant, brooding French partner with a sharp tongue, and Anton, the kind but mysterious German gentleman who seems almost too good to be true. Pushed to her limits, Lillian will discover what she's made of and what matters the most. Yeah, we have like two love interests in here, and apparently one of them is our colleague, and probably like another spy is infiltrated. And the other one is a German guy, I don't know. So this is during like the First World War. Let me see. It has some content warning in here. Okay. So yeah, it's more for an adult. It's more for an adult audience. So let's take a look at this. I don't actually know how long this demo is going to take. It's kind of like always like that. So April 2nd, 1916. Oh. Le Musée Jacques-Martin is in fine form this evening, lit up and flickering like a candelabra from within. I don't know if you say it like that, kind of. I know what it is, but I don't know how you say it, the right pronunciation. The Rocaille style saloons with their gilded accents only add to the influence and the status present. Is this something that I can? Oh, I can. A French design motif that was popular during the Rococo period. It features swirling ornamental patterns that were inspired by nature. If you do not know what Rococo is, because I mean you are in America, you don't need to know all of this. It was like a type of architectural art. It was not just in. It was on other places, not just the architecture. Okay, but it has like it had like a presence of being very, how should I put it? Ostentatious. You know, like it would have like motives that would show a lot of emphasis to the ostentation. I don't actually know how to put it like in another way. Let me see if I can explain it better if I look in here. Because it's like I have it in my mind, but I don't actually know very well how to explain it to you. But I do bet, like, especially if you are from America, you probably do not recognize this. Yes, it's characterized by extensive ornamentation, fluid curves, asymmetry, and smaller scale design to foster intimacy. Yeah, it was very ostentatious. I don't know how to explain it to you in another way. Like, I have the vision on my mind, but I don't actually know how to put it to you in another way. The guests here sparkle and shine. The Parisian elite gather for another philanthropic event for the city. The bombings last year left quite a few historic and artistic landmarks in ruin. I'm sorry, I need to put, like, the music is excellent, but it's a bit too loud in my ears. I'm really sorry. I know you like the music. When you traverse the city, now you see wooden planks girdling the monuments and paper tape crisscrossing the window panes. The front may be several miles off, but Paris is not untouchable. Because of this, her denizens, I think it's denizens, are eager to do their part of the war effort. You know that I always have like these issues with pronunciation because I'm not actually sure. The young men have gone to fight. The women left behind take their places in the factories. This is like the period of the First World War. The poor bear the brunt of food shortages and rationing. The wealthy lend their charity to rebuilding the city, if only to keep up appearances. Yeah, that's true. Not everyone here tonight has the status, influence, or capital to fund the cause. Some of us are here to serve other purposes. I think the visuals are very pretty though. Really like them. Like me. I'm dressed to the nines, glittering along with the rest of them, but I'm here at someone else's behest. A waiter passes with a tray, champagne, of course. Perfect timing, I was starting to get thirsty. I plug 2 glasses from him and saunter over to a curly-haired young woman a few yards away. She's tucking a stray hair into place in the reflection of her compact mirror and biting her lip. She snaps it shut when she sees me and accepts her drink with relief. Oh, this is actually in French. Oh, tu es adorable, merci. Oh, you are a doll, thank you. Tu sembles nerveuse. You seem nervous. Vraiment? Mon Dieu? Do I? Goodness. Okay, I should not continue with the French in here, otherwise, yeah, you're going to probably kill me. I haven't been out to a party like this in weeks. It's been dreadful for my self-esteem. It's just that it appears on the top, and I kind of like want to say it because it's the first line that appears. Eh bien, je trouve que tu es magnifique ce soir. Well, I think you look stunning tonight. She gives me a small smile. Thank you, Lily. Tati, I'm going to call her Tati. Tati takes a sip of her drink, her eyes scanning the crowd. With a smirk, she inclines her head towards a small group of women chatting in the opposite corner. Madame de Givry, okay, I forgot. I cannot. Madame de Givry looks absolutely bored to tears. It's just that I start reading in the first line and then I remember, okay, it's the French one. You would too if people were always asking you for money. Well, I was not expecting this, that you would have like, because I understand like she is a native English, like she's American, and she's just like talking in French, you know, because she's in there. It's just that it's kind of funny. So you would too if people were always asking you for money. It's tedious. Admittedly, though, Madame Margot de Givry does look uninterested. She alone is seated amongst her chittering peers, her gaze drifting as she leans on her cane and drums her fingers impatiently. Someone as well-traveled as Margot has little desire to fritter away her time at the social affairs, but she still does as expected. Thanks to her wealth and social position, she has nothing stopping her from letting those around her know exactly what she is thinking. Everyone is happy to accept her pointed comments just as long as she still attends and gives generously. Over the past 2 years, I've gotten used to the formidable way in which she conducts the people around her, as only a grand dame can. And I've come to enjoy my situation as her lady's companion. Okay, I see the situation. I'm going to say, like, every time I see them, I'm going to start reading. But I don't think it's efficient for me to be reading in French and in English too. A nice problem to have, I should think. Tati sighs and adjusts the straps of her sleeves. The Bouchen family fortune has been in decline for some time now, leaving them with only a vineyard in Corsica and their good names. Their crops have done poorly in the past few years, so that too is now at risk. The Bouchen last hope is their daughter, Tatienne. She attends every party, gathering and reception that she can, all in hope of attracting a suitable husband who will give the Bouchen the cash injection they need to keep the estate running. I'm sure you'll have problems like that soon enough. My French is not great either, okay? Like, I can understand and I can read, but it's not great either, okay? It's the same thing with English. Qui est là ce soir? Voyons voir. Who is here tonight? Let's see. I start scanning the room to identify some suitable prospects for her. Ah, regarde Henri Boursier là-bas. Oh, take a look at Henri Boursier over there. Il est plutôt frigant, ne sais pas? Même avec cette drôle de moustache qu'il porte de nos jours. He's rather dashing, isn't he? Even with that odd moustache he's sporting nowadays. Tati frowns. J'ai entendu dire qu'il devait de l'argent à son club. I heard that he's running up quite the bill at his club. Trop de temps aux tables de jeu. Too much time at the card tables. Entre lui et son frère, c'est un miracle que les boursiers aient encore quelque chose. Between him and his brother, it's a miracle the boursiers have anything left. Tati directs her attention to an older gentleman with thinning hair and a sleepy look. Je suppose qu'il y a toujours Monsieur Popelin, aussi terne qu'il soit. I suppose there is always Monsieur Popelin, dull as he is. Baliverne. Rot. Okay, let's not continue. I don't care how deep his pockets are. I refuse to let you resign yourself to an old goat like that. What about Monsieur Robillard? I thought he was already married. His wife passed last year, very sad. I think you could be the one to cheer him up. I give Tati a wink. She looks a little timid, clearly in want of more encouragement. Allez, go on. I mentally wish her luck as she corners her query, grateful not to be in her shoes. Most women are expected to hunt for husbands, especially after finishing school, where Tati and I met. Yeah, it's one of those schools that are for women, probably. Yeah, private schools meant to prepare young women of the upper class to enter fashionable society. Lillian attended a finishing school called Manoir Vauquelin. With my parents still living back in San Francisco, my obligations and their expectations are out of reach. I'm free to enjoy Parisian life on my own terms. With my conversation partner now otherwise occupied, I think it's wind my way through the gallery and taking the paintings on display. Intrigued by a portrait of Venus laid out on a bed of pink silk, I step in for a closer examination. The detail is incredible, how the light reflects off each pearl of the strands adorning her body. Having completed my examination, I step back only to bump into someone. Oops. Ah, pardon. I spin to see a man not too much older than myself, looking cross as he examines the front of his suit, now covered in champagne. Ah, je suis tellement désolée. I'm really sorry. Regardez au fond. Watch where you're. Watch where you're going. I'm prepared for him to scold me, but he stops short as he looks up from his spoiled clothes and our eyes meet. The words die in his mouth, and for a moment we are just staring at each other. Remembering myself, I dive into my handbag for a handkerchief. Et bien, permettez-moi. Here, let me, it's more like, allow me to, clean. I blot at the droplets still rolling down his front with limited effect, sorry. C'est bien, vous n'avez vraiment pas à le faire. That's alright, you really don't have to. Determined as I am, my handkerchief accomplishes very little. I look up apologetically. For a moment, I'm surprised to see his features tinged with pink until I realize how close I'm standing to him and how much I've been touching his chest. Mortified, I take a step back to a respectable distance. Okay, I see. I was so taken by the painting, I wasn't paying attention at all. Yes, she's very beautiful. Elle est très belle. He's not looking at the painting as he says this. He's looking at me. I can feel the blush bloom on my cheeks. We are probably the same shade now. He gives a nervous cough before continuing on. C'est un véritable raison. Okay. This is quite the gathering here tonight, isn't it, mademoiselle? He waits for me to supply my name. Sinclair. Philippe Naudet. Enchanté. It's like he's introducing his enchanté is like nice to meet you. Enchanté, Monsieur Naudet. I hold out my hand for him to take and smile warmly. Are you a patron of the museum? Whatever. No, I'm afraid they won't see so much as a centime from me. 100 of a franc. Centime? Okay, I see. I thought it was another thing. I don't know much about art, you see. Je ne connais pas beaucoup en art, voyez-vous. Vous n'avez pas besoin de connaître quoi que ce soit sur l'art pour l'apprécier. Yeah, you don't have to know anything about art in order to appreciate it. Je vous ai surpris en train d'apprécier assez bien cette œuvre en particulier. I caught you appreciating this particular piece well enough. I'm sorry, it's just that it appears first and I kind of feel like I need to read it, at least for myself. I point to the Venus behind him. He laughs, reddening a bit. En effet, eh bien, ne me prendrai pas pour... Okay, indeed. Well, don't I feel like a lecher? Admirer la forme... Okay, admiring the female form is many a man's favorite pastime, Monsieur Naudet. Don't take this the wrong way, but you are hardly an original when it comes to wuggling. Je vais devoir m'y trouver. Okay, I shall have to find a new passion then. You are bound to find one. You seem like a very passionate fellow. He laughs again, a bit more nervously this time. We fall quiet, the playfulness of our conversation waning the more we catch each other's eyes. Donc, vous ne connaissez rien à l'art. So you don't know one thing about art. He grins and shakes his head. Je ne suis pas I'm not Philistine. Would you say it like this? Philistine. I don't know. But mais la capacité à distinguer un monnaie d'un monnaie est une chose pour laquelle mon cerveau n'a tout simplement pas de place. Okay. The ability to distinguish a monnaie from a money from a monnaie is something my brain has no space for. Edouard Manet was a 19th century French painter associated with realism. And Monet. Claude Monet was a 19th century French painter associated with Impressionism. Yeah, that is true. Manet et Monet, ce sont deux choses différentes. Manet, Monet, that's two different kind of things. Ne vous sous-estimez pas, monsieur. Don't sell yourself short, monsieur. Yes, that's it. Just don't ask me anything about them, I suppose. My employer is fanatical about this kind of stuff. I'm here at his behest, actually. Oh, who is your employer? Aristide Briand. I'm his secretary. Okay. A French politician who served as head of the French government 11 times between the 1909 and the 1929. He won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1926 for his work on the Locarno Treatise. I don't actually know about this. I don't actually know about that. I blink at Philippe. Le président du Conseil des ministres Affaires étrangères. Okay, he is the president of the Council and Minister of Foreign Affairs. I see. Yeah, je vois. Does the Minister of Foreign Affairs usually attend cultural fundraisers? Okay. It was a chance to meet with some of his colleagues in an unofficial capacity. And as I mentioned, he is somewhat of an amateur classical art savant. Let's not hold his fanaticism against him. Après tout. After all, it is thanks to him that our paths have crossed. I quirk my head and smile at Philippe, an expression he can't help but return. Oui, c'est vrai. Yes, that is true. He looks tickled. It's a full beat before he remembers himself and continues the conversation. Enough of my non-interest in art. Quels sont vos centres d'intérêt? Okay. Where do your interests lie, Miss Sinclair? Yeah, it's kind of like that, yeah. I've always loved music. As it turns out, Philippe also likes music. We talk about the symphony and our favorite composers, finding common ground here and there. It isn't long before we exhaust this subject, though. We spend a few awkward moments chuckling to ourselves as we try not to let our gazes linger for too long. Voulez-vous faire un tour dans la salle? Would you care to take a turn around the room? Ce sera avec plaisir. It would be my pleasure. Encouraged by my invitation, he offers me an arm. As we stroll through the gallery, we manage to leave some of our timidness behind and the conversation starts to flow with more ease. Alors, so what brings you here tonight, mademoiselle? You never said. Okay. I am escorting a friend who is here by invitation of the Harrisons. Okay. They are apparently important people, and she's quite well known too. Alas, I am a nobody. That doesn't bother me. I myself have never felt at home with this crowd. I am originally from a small town outside Rouen. Humble origins are nothing to be ashamed of. You are kind, sir. Vous êtes gentil, monsieur. Vous facilitez les choses. Well, you make it easy. I blush. Alors, quoi ressemble une journée dans la vie? So, what is a day in the life of the Secretary of the Minister of Foreign Affairs like? Philippe smiles at my change of subject, but obliges me nonetheless. Je gère l'agenda de Monsieur Briand. I manage Monsieur Briand's calendar. Yeah, like his schedule. Well, more like he manages his schedule. Agenda. His agenda. They could use it like agenda. Accompany him to meetings, compile his press briefings each morning. Chaque matin. Okay, ces genre de choses. That kind of things. That makes you very important then. Je ne sais pas si je dirais ça. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I don't know if I'll say that. Yeah. Vraiment? Really? You are handling so many things for the minister. On dirait que vous êtes son bras droit. It sounds like you are his right hand. He puffs up a little with pride. Eh bien, je suppose que je garde les trains sur les rails. Yeah. Well, I suppose I do keep the train on the tracks. Yeah, that's exactly the translation. Et vous rencontrez probablement tant de personnes importantes. And you probably get to meet so many important people. Principalement des dignitaires étrangers, mais oui. Mostly foreign dignitaries, but yes. J'ai même rencontré une fois les rois d'Angleterre. Okay, I did once meet the King of England. Wow, like wow. C'est incroyable. Vous étiez si chanceux. That's incredible. You are so lucky. He takes a satisfied sip from his glass. I pout. La personne la plus intéressante que j'ai rencontrée cette semaine est Madame Lafite pour prendre le thé. Okay, having tea. The most interesting person I met this week is Madame Lafite for tea. Et elle ne parle que de ses chats. And all she talks about is her cats. Donc, ce soir a été un rare plaisir pour moi. So tonight has been a rare treat for me. Philippe smiles again and he catches me glancing at him. We fall into another conversation lull, but it's not uncomfortable this time. A few sips from our champagne glasses do enough to fill the silence. I'm suddenly aware that we have somehow wandered into an area of the museum that has not been prepared for the function. The lights are off in here and the din of the guests sounds further away than before. We are quite alone. Comment sommes-nous arrivés ici? How did we get here? On dirait que personne n'est censé d'être dans ces pièces. Doesn't seem like anyone is supposed to be in this room. Oh, vous avez raison. Je n'ai pas la moindre idée. Oh, you are right. I haven't the faintest idea. Devrions-nous revenir en arrière? Shall we go back to, the room where the people were? Je ne sais pas, j'appréciais assez la solitude. I don't know, I sort of enjoyed the solitude. I set my glass down on a nearby table and take a tentative step in towards him. Qui en penses-tu? What do you think? Philippe pauses for a moment, but then lets out a small chuckle. He too sets down his glass. Mademoiselle, vous allez me causer des ennuis. Mademoiselle, you are going to get me in trouble. I feel his fingers brush against mine, trailing up my arm slowly when I don't pull away. Je ne le dirai pas au ministre si tu ne le fais pas. I won't tell the minister if you won't. With that, he smiles, taking my face into his hands and kissing me tenderly. I allow myself to melt into his body more, which in turn encourages him to deepen the kiss. His hands travel down my neck and sides, landing on the small of my neck to hold me. We come up for air briefly, which he takes as an opportunity to hold me in his gaze for a moment. Pourquoi plus des femmes ne sont-elles pas comme toi? Okay, why can't more women be like you? Je pense que tu ne rencontrais pas les bons types de femmes. Yeah. I just think you aren't meeting the right types of women. Tu dois élargir davantage tes horizons. You must broaden your horizons more. He laughs and strokes my chin with his thumb. Peut-être que je devrais. Perhaps I might. More like, perhaps I really should. More like that. Bien que tu sois déjà tout à fait mondaine, though you are quite worldly already. Je parie que tu rencontrais les rois d'Espagne ou quelqu'un d'autre cette semaine. I'll bet you are meeting the King of Spain or something this week. L'ambassadeur d'Espagne a un fait. Espagne, okay. Because I forget. Like sometimes it's a mix, you know. Like the other day I was doing the Spanish parts in the other game, and I was like, I think I said there was like a J, and I didn't set the J in the right way because they say the J in another way, and I was like, oh yeah, but it's a mix because in my head, you know, with all of this processing of all of the languages that I kind of have like some knowledge, and processing that sometimes happens like that. So the Spanish ambassador, actually. Spain maintained neutrality throughout the First World War. Public opinion in Spain was split. Members of the aristocracy, Catholic Church, and military generally favored the Central Powers, while the middle class, professional classes, and intellectuals generally favored the Allied forces. Ah, he rubs the back of his neck nervously. J'ai craint d'y avoir trop dit. I'm afraid I've said too much. Oh, je ne voulais pas fournir. I don't actually know if it's said like this. Oh, I didn't mean to pry. Tu ne fournais pas. Je me suis mal exprimée. You did not pry, mademoiselle. I misspoke. Pardonnez-moi. Forgive me. Ces réunions sont-elles toujours aussi secrètes? Is it always very hush-hush, these meetings? Are those meetings always that secretive? I don't know how to put it in another way. I look up at him through my lashes. He blinks back at me for a moment, then clears his throat. Ah non, pas toujours. No, not always. C'est juste qu'avec les choses telles qu'elles sont en Afrique, tu sais, c'est une affaire délicate. It's just that with things as they are in Africa, you know, it's a delicate matter. Okay. Ah, mais je ne me laisse pas tant parler de mon travail. I don't want to talk so much about my work. Oh, but don't let me go on about work like this. Yeah, I don't want to talk so much about work. Embrasse-moi encore. Kiss me again. I oblige him this time with a tiny bit of his lip that makes him shudder. I feel his fingers press a bit harder into my flesh, a cue that he wants more, but is afraid to ask for it. Tu es timide. You are shy. Non, tu me embroilles. No, it is that you confound me. Je n'ai pas l'habitude d'une telle assurance. I'm not used to such assertiveness. J'ai envie de profiter un peu plus de toi, mais je présume que je ne ai aucun droit. I feel like taking advantages I presume I have no right to take. Parce que je suis une femme, because I'm a lady. Precisely. J'ai peut-être été élevée dans la haute société. I may have been brought up in proper society. Mais cela devrait-il m'empêcher d'agir selon mes passions? But should that prevent me from acting on my passions? Dans une ère plus évoluée, peut-être que tu pourrais... Yeah. Okay, in a more enlightened era, perhaps you could. Le monde est encore très rétrograde dans son traitement de l'argent féminin. The world is still very backwards in its treatment of the fairer sex. The thing is, like, with French, we need to, and with English, you do not have this. You roll the R's, you roll it. So you do not have so I there's always like this thing of like, now I need to roll, now I don't have to roll the tongue. There's like this combination. I sling my arms around his neck. Je savais que tu étais intelligent. I knew you were smart. Comme cette affaire avec l'Afrique que tu as mentionné. Like that business with Africa you mentioned. Je suis sûre que tu as une influence positive sur les ministres. I'm sure you're a positive influence on the minister. Les esprits progressistes règnent dans les colonies. Ne sais pas? Progressive minds prevail in the colonies, do they not? Je ne sais pas. Les actions progressistes sont toujours durement gagnées. I don't know, progressive actions is always hard won. Honnêtement, c'est flatteur, mais je crains que tu surestimes un peu mon rôle auprès du ministre. Honestly, it is flattering, but I fear you inflate my role with the minister a bit. C'est surtout de la paperasse et des courses. It's mostly paperwork and running around. It's more like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's it. Les préparations de quelque chose comme une visite diplomatique à l'étranger est épuisant. Preparation for something like a foreign diplomatic visit is exhausting. I'm really sorry for the French people that are hearing me, the English too. I need to say it again. I know a bit of French. I know more English than French. But I'm like, I can't understand both of them. But my way of pronouncing the English and the French is not going to be great, okay? So I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Do not kill me already, okay? Vraiment? Really? Sensing my interest, he continues on. Absolument. Absolutely. Je dois faire beaucoup de recherches sur tous les sujets dont ils ont l'intention de discuter lors de la réunion afin de pouvoir informer les ministres. I have to research all of the topics they intend to discuss at the meeting, then brief the minister. Yeah, this was like, they were able to actually fit in here what was said. Je dois également m'assurer que tous les aliments et boissons correspondant aux préférences de chacun of each one. Okay, I also have to make sure all the food and drinks matches everyone's preference. Yeah, that's why chacun is like each one of them. Et puis, je dois organiser la sécurité. And then I have to arrange for security. Cela semble faire beaucoup. That does sound like a lot to do, you know. Est-ce que tu es déjà prêt pour cette réunion ou as-tu encore des choses à faire? Is everything arranged for this meeting already or do you have more to do? Toute la logistique est réglée. Il ne reste donc que les briefs. All the logistics are settled, so all that's left is the briefing. La réunion n'est pas vendredi, donc je vais m'en sortir. Okay, donc je vais m'en sortir. The meeting isn't until Friday, so I'll manage. Vendredi, hein? Friday, hein? Je me demandais, est-ce que je te verrai avant? I wonder, will I see you before then? He pulls me close again. Mais bien sûr. Indeed. Je suis sûre que je pourrais m'en sortir. I'm sure I could get away. Tu pourrais en valoir la peine. You might be worthy a little bunking off after all. Yeah, you might be worth it. It's like that, basically. Tant que je sécurisais ces satanés caves en première. Satané. Okay, tant que je sécurisais ces satanés caves en première. As long as I secure that damn camphor first. Cave. L'ambassadeur d'Espagne ne boira que du vin, Monsieur l'Espagne. Okay, the Spanish ambassador will only drink sparkling wine from Spain. Yes, that's what he said. Pas de champagne, juste du cava. Tu imagines? No champagne, just cava. Can you imagine? C'est un crime. Je le sais, mais il ne faudrait pas offenser quelqu'un. It's a crime, I know, but you wouldn't want to offend someone. Il faut être sensible aux pratiques culturelles des étrangers. One must be sensible to the cultural practices of foreigners. Créer une bonne ambiance grâce à la bonne nourriture et la bonne boisson fait toute la différence. Yeah. Setting the mood with the right food and drink makes all the difference. Si nous servons du cava à la réunion, il y a plus de chances que les choses se passent bien. If we serve cava at the meeting, there's a better chance of things going well. He launches into an anecdote about the length he's gone to secure a crate of cava. After running around the city, he finally found a seller who had promised to deliver some by midweek. Yeah, I told you that I was not going to read the French, but it's like impossible because it's the first phrase that I have in there, and I end up reading it. It's just, you know. But then he had to fight the owner of the restaurant where the meeting was to take place to convince him to put it on the menu that day. Tout ira bien, mais je ne pense pas m'y être fait des amis à chez Marais, intimidant la propriétaire. It will all work out, but I don't think I made any friends at chez Marais by bullying the owner. Il dira sans doute au chef de cracher dans mon plat. Okay, he'll probably tell the chef to spit in my food. Yes. Philippe laughs. Chez Marie est si populaire, j'ai entendu dire qu'il était quasiment impossible d'obtenir une réservation. Chez Marie is so popular, I've heard it's nearly impossible to get a reservation. Reservation, right? Yeah, I think they are saying it in more of an English way. Alors, imaginez qu'il fermera l'endroit pour une réunion privée. It's just that I need to do it in one way in French and then another in English. And to imagine they would shut down the place for a private meeting. Ils ont une salle à manger privée à aller arriver. Okay. Ils ont une salle à manger privée à aller à lire. They have a private dining room in the back. Nous ne serons que 7 là-bas, donc inutile de prendre tous les restaurants. There will only be 7 of us there, so no need to take up the whole restaurant. Except nous ne serons que 7. Même si je suis sûre que je pourrais la faire si c'était nécessaire. Though I'm sure I could have that done if it was needed. Je suis impressionnée. I'm impressed. Impressionnée à quel point? How impressed? I grin at him and we kiss once again. This time he lifts me up. He was being sarcastic. What are you impressionate. Oh my god, like the processing now, it's killing me. Did you have like a good impression of what I said, or the kiss? He was kind of like putting it that way. I grinned at him and we kiss once again. This time he lifts me up and against the wall, holding me there so that he might have more access to my body. I sigh as he runs a hand up my thigh, letting his lips brush along my neck. He buries his face into my shoulder. His shoulders shake with a quiet laugh. Ah, pourquoi? What is it? Yeah, it's like, why? Pourquoi? It's why? C'est juste que je n'ai jamais été aussi content d'y avoir un gilet ruiné. It's just I've never been so glad to have a waistcoat ruined. Pulling myself away from him, I offer a coy look. Si tu pouvais me trouver un peu plus de champagne, je serais heureuse de éclabousser un peu plus. If you can find me some more champagne, I'll be happy to give you another splash. I grab my empty glass from the table and wiggle it in the air, causing him to chuckle again. Je vais voir ce que je peux faire. I'm going to see what I can do. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Attendez-moi ici. Just wait right here for me. He takes my glass and disappears into the crowd. Left alone in the darkened room, I exhale. Philippe Naudet has told me everything I wanted to know. Time to make my way back to the main hall and find Margot. I see her in conversation with two older gentlemen. Upon catching her eye, I give her a nod, the signal we discussed beforehand. She waves me over. As I make my way across the gallery, I see her shake hands with a gentleman, clearly putting an end to her conversation. When I reach her, she takes my arm. Lillian, j'en ai eu ma dose d'être généreuse ce soir. Lillian, I've had my fill of being generous tonight. Avez-vous passé un agréable moment? Did you have an enjoyable time? Oui, madame. Yes, madame. Bon, nous pouvons partir alors. Good, we can go then. Demandez à quelqu'un d'y aller chercher la voiture pour nous. Have someone fetch the carriage. The car is like... chercher la voiture. Oh no, la voiture, the car. Yes. I thought it was like the carriage because I was like thinking about the old times. Have someone fetch the car. Yeah, la voiture, yes, for us. Tout de suite, madame. Right away, madame. In short order, Margot and I are tucked into the back seat of the car, headed home. She wastes no time in getting me to divulge. What did you learn of Monsieur Briand's schedule? Margot's driver is perfectly trustworthy, but she speaks in English to give us privacy. I tell her every detail that I extracted from Naudet about the minister's planned meeting with the Spanish ambassador. And how did you leave the conversation? I sent him for drinks. That didn't give you a very long window to escape him? It wasn't a problem this time, but it's always a good idea to give yourself more time than you need. Overall, I'll say it was a very good performance. Well done, ma petite fleur. It's my little flower. I'm going to enjoy reporting this to Sadoul. Capitaine Sadoul? I thought tonight was just a training exercise. It was, but it proves 2 points. First, that la paix féminin seduction is effective. And second, that the men working for La République do not have their defenses up. How much did Monsieur Naudet give away tonight in an effort to impress you? I can't help but grin to myself. Enough to get the sack, I'll say. I hope that's not the case. He was nice, if indiscreet. He deserves to be terminated for his lack of discretion, but no, he probably won't get more than a slap on his wrist. Lucky for him, you are not an enemy agent. Lucky for all of us. I don't know much about the inner politics of the Deuxième Bureau. Yeah, Deuxième, yeah. The second Bureau. Yeah, Deuxième is the second. Was the French intelligence agency from 1871 to 1940. There aren't many women working for the Bureau. You would say bureau, right? It's just that I'm reading like the French and the English, and it's, you know, even fewer work as agents. I've gathered that Sadul is not keen on training young women as spies. I'm the first candidate that Margot has gained its sanction to train. I wouldn't trade this opportunity for anything. When I graduated from finishing school 2 years ago, the only thing I knew was that I wasn't ready to go back to San Francisco. Margot made me an offer based on a recommendation from the headmistress of Manoir Vauquelin, a stay in Paris as her companion. Naturally, I accepted. After a few months, once I had proven myself trustworthy and capable, Margot made me a second offer. I was blessed with natural good looks and trained to be charming and graceful. I was fluent in French and German and had even picked up a bit of Italian. I could use all of that to become a woman of good society, find a husband, and spend the rest of my life throwing dinner parties. Or I could do something more. Margot had learned a lot over the past 25 years as an agent of Deuxième Bureau. But age was starting to catch up to her, and she felt it's time to pass on the torch. I can't imagine a life more thrilling than that. The next few blocks pass in a mutuality satisfied silence. Tonight did go well. Margot studies me thoughtfully before speaking again. I think it will be okay putting you out in the field. Field work. I can hardly contain my excitement. Everything until now has been training and small tasks, all performed under Margot's watchful eye. Going into the field alone would be a big step. Yes, abroad. My jaw drops. You need to do a better job hiding your reactions, chérie. Chérie is my dear. You shouldn't be careless just because we are in the car. She's right, it's something that I've been practicing but still struggle with sometimes. Information is valuable. If I don't control my facial expressions, others will read me like an open book. I can't have that. Honestly, I would have preferred to wait a little bit longer before giving you a task like this. But an old friend of mine is in some trouble and time is of the essence. She fixes me with a very serious look. I can't go, so I'm sending you in my stead. You understand? Ah oui, madame. Good girl. I'm abused with questions. Sorry. The French and the English in here, it's my mind. Okay, I'm a buzz with questions. Where am I going? What is my mission? Where do I start? What are the specifics? I'm glad you are eager, but we are just about home. Get changed and then come by my study. We'll discuss the details there. The car stops in front of Margot's residence, one in a series of imposing townhomes, tall and caged by the wrought iron fence. The chauffeur helps Margot from the car. I'm close behind as we go to her front door. Sophie, Margot's maid, greets us at the entrance. Comment était la fête, madame? How was the party, madame? Ennuyeuse, je suis contente que nous soyons partis tôt. Dull, I'm glad we left early. Sophie takes Madame a coat, then mine. I'm impatient both to get out of my evening wear and to find out more about my new assignment. As soon as I'm free from my coat sleeves, I'm zipping up the stairs. The voices in the hall echo below me. Quelqu'un vous a laissé une note, madame. Someone left you a note, okay? Amenez-la moi. Bring it here. Lillian. I scamper back down the stairs as quickly as I left. When I reach the foyer, Margot is directing Sophie. Ramenez les manteaux de Mademoiselle Sinclair et demandez à Jean-Jacques de ramener la voiture. Bring back Mademoiselle Sinclair's coat and have Jean-Jacques bring the car back around. Madame! She waves me over as Sophie disappears to carry out her orders. I thought I'll have time to brief you, but your partner is asking to meet you at La Libellule at 8. That's in 20 minutes. Where is La Libellule? More than 20 minutes away. Jean-Jacques will know. I did not realize he'll call for such a last-minute meeting. You'll need to leave now. Who am I meeting? Emile Desrosiers. He's a young man about your age with dark hair. His note mentions that he'll be wearing a burgundy scarf. Sophie reappears with my coat and starts wrapping it around me as Margot keeps talking. Come see me when you get back. I'll be waiting in my study. Bonne chance. Good luck. Bonne chance. There's a slight flutter in my chest as I step into the dim lighting of the La Libellule just after 8. Having rushed here without warning made me a little anxious, but my nerves are overdriven by my excitement. The car ride here was hardly enough time to process the news. I have a field assignment abroad. Margot thinks I'm ready to work without her supervision. The thought makes me swell with pride. I won't let her down. My excitement for this next step. I'm excited for the next step, and I'm extremely curious about my partner Emile Desrosiers. But I have to wonder why he chose this bar for a meeting place. La Libellule seems like a popular spot crowded with locals and soldiers on leave. The three-man band playing in the corner can barely be heard over the din of conversation. Not that the noise stops anyone from dancing. The patrons here appear to be, for lack of a better word, plastered. Dancers swing each other around with reckless abandon, knocking into other patrons. I catch a man in the middle of a very animated story accidentally slosh his drink on a comrade. There are a few couples necking out in the open. This is nothing like the places I visit with Margot. It's a dive. I suppose there is little risk of anyone overhearing us in a place like this, though I certainly stand out in my party attire. I don't normally mind eyes on me, but that's not the point of tonight. I draw my coat around myself a little tighter, doing what I can to hide the beating on my dress, the padding of my dress. It's a challenge to see past the crowds to the bar no matter how much I crane my neck. There is no one here matching the description Marco gave me. Surely I'm not the first to arrive. If I am, I'll better find somewhere for us to sit. Gritting my teeth, I force my way through the crowds to the back where I hope to find an empty table. A cluster of soldiers shouting at each other blocks my path. I press past them, calling out, m'excusez, m'excusez, though I doubt they can hear me. When I finally do reach my destination, there is nothing available. Just as I think my efforts were for naught, a couple rises from their seats. They haven't taken more than a step away before I'm lunging for the empty chair. Another woman reaches for the same one, but I'm slightly faster to slide into the seat. It's like competition. C'est occupé, c'est occupé. Yeah. Taken. Like it's occupied, you know, I'm already in here. She gives me a sneer before slinking back towards the bar. Empty chairs are clearly hard to come by here, all the better that I staked my claim. It's warm in here. There is still no sign of my partner as I scan the room. I drum my fingers on the table, slightly irked that I was in such a rush to get here only to overheat while I wait. It's no wonder, with me in a coat and the sheer number of bodies. Deciding I'll rather stick out than sweat, I reluctantly shrug off my outer layer. I catch a few odd looks as I drape the coat over the back of my chair. I understand why. My dress shimmers amidst all the dark colors of the room. My tiara shines too brightly under the buzzing bulbs above. But I have to ignore it. If I act as though everything is as it should be, perhaps they will grow used to me and move their attention onto other things. I ease back into my chair and resume my scan of the heads in the room. My eyes land on a dark-haired man at the bar. Is that Emile? He might be, but I don't see the scarf that's supposed to identify him, and he doesn't appear to be waiting for me. He's deep in conversation with another woman. She's beautiful, imposingly so, but the shade of lipstick on her mouth is an intensive red. Why is the lipstick one like this? Oh, though cosmetics like blush, powder, eyeshadow, and lip stain were commonly worn in the early 90s, the prevailing beauty standard was that women should not appear to be wearing makeup. Yeah, that is true. The obvious use of makeup was associated with the stage and sex work. She's a prostitute, she must be. That can't be my partner talking to her. I turn away and continue my search. He must be here somewhere. Let's see. Soldier, too blonde, too old, another soldier. I whip around in the direction of the claimer. The prostitute slams her fist on the bar so fiercely that people are turning to look, assuming something has broken. She looks furious. Her companion glares at her venomously. Je partirai quand je veux, putain. I'll leave whenever the fuck I want. Yeah. Yeah. It's more like I will go out whenever I want, you fucker. It's more like that. It's more like putain. It's more like you fucker kind of thing. Calme-toi. Calm down. Ne me dis quoi pas faire. You don't tell me what to do. Tu dois payer pour ces privilèges, connard. Yeah, you gotta pay for that privilege, you asshole. Putain de merde. Fucking Christ. Okay, Putain is actually whore, okay, but it can be used to actually say fuck, okay, like in a localized kind of like language, you can say it like fuck, yeah. It's more like, yeah, you I don't know, you shit whore, kind of. It's more like the literal translation, well, you shit whore. She angrily gathers up her coat and throws it on. The man languidly slides off the bar stool, trying to grab her shoulder, but she just shrugs away. She turns, spits on the floor, and storms out. He rolls his eyes before downing the wine in his glass and grabbing his own coat. My eyes lock onto something reddish sticking out from the pockets. Oh no, don't tell me, the man disappears into the throng. I only catch a glimpse of him by the exit, wrapping a burgundy scarf around his neck as he leaves. That was Emile Desrosiers. And now he's gone. I have to go after him. I've barely stood before someone snatches my chair. Damn it, that table was hard to come by, but I push my way through the crowd, hoping that I can catch up to Emile. Why wasn't he wearing the scarf before? If I can't even meet my contact, how is Margot supposed to trust me with a mission abroad? I duck under the chins of a kissing couple, careful not to bump them, then thread myself through a few group of dancers as nimbly as I'm able given my flouncy attire. When I finally reach the door, it swings open and I'm nearly thrown backwards by someone else coming in. Catching my balance, I look up to see none other than the dark-haired man in the burgundy scarf staring down at me. There is a skull on his face, but it doesn't mask the fact that he's got striking features. He's got striking features, piercing blue eyes framed by thick brows, a strong jaw, a slight bump to his nose. Pieces of dark hair fall carelessly in his face. The effect is pleasing, and for a moment I forget myself. Monsieur Desrosiers. His eyebrows fly up in surprise. He looks me up and down as if baffled by what's before him. Le ballet est annulé? Did they cancel the ballet? Quoi? Sorry, I was reading it in French because I understand. Sorry, I'm really sorry. It's just that, yeah. So, what? I'm sorry, it's just, yeah. T'es un de ces danseurs en tutu? Tutu? You one of those dancing girls in the tutus? Vous voulez dire une ballerine? You mean ballerina? Yes, okay, sure. Non. Alors, pourquoi t'es habilité comme ça? Then why are you dressed like one? Je le suis pas. C'est une Lucille. I'm not. This is a Lucille. Lucille, yeah, this was like a type of a dressing by like some kind of fashion. A well-known English fashion designer of the early 20th century, famous for her lingerie, tea gowns, and evening wear. Putain, c'est qui Lucille? What the fuck is Lucille? Yeah. Like, shit, and who is Lucille? Like, who the fuck is that person? Without waiting for a reply, he breezes past me back towards the bar, forcing me to follow. At least it's easier walking in his wake than wending my way through the crowds on my own. He arrives at the end of the bar, where he was set up before but finds it occupied. Ugh. T'es à ma place. You are in my spot. The man sitting in the stool seems ready to object, but the barkeep whistles at him and jabs his thumb in the opposite direction, a signal to get lost. Clearly he has some cachet here. The occupier and his companion do so, grumbling as they go, but leaving their stools free for us. The man in the burgundy scarf lights up a cigarette as he settles back into his seat. The visuals are very pretty, though. I think they are very, very pretty. Vous êtes Emile Desrosiers, ne sais pas? You are Emile Desrosiers, aren't you? Et tu dois être Marie Pickford. And you must be Mary Pickford, a famous actress of the silent film era, known as the Queen of the Movies. Pickford defined the ingénue archetype. I frown at him. Je venais d'une fête. I came from a party. Et c'était à Buckingham Palace. Was it in the Buckingham Palace? Yeah, you know, it's the London residence of British monarchs. C'est censé être une réunion clandestine. This is supposed to be a clandestine meeting. T'es habillée comme une princesse de conte de fées. You are dressed like a fairy tale princess, yes. He's stuck on my outfit and not taking me seriously. And he seems at home here, being well acquainted with the barkeep. I won't get very far challenging him on his own turf. Making an effort at accommodation will likely get me further. I carefully removed the tiara from my head. My hair, which had been relying on the headpiece to stay up, tumbles down around my face. I stuff the tiara into my handbag and quickly comb through my hair with my fingers. He looks at me with eyes wide. C'est mieux? Like, is it better? Mais vraiment? No, not really. I sigh. Si vous voulez que je m'habille pour l'occasion, if you wanted me to dress for the occasion, vous aurez de prévenir Madame de Givry un peu plus de 20 minutes à l'avance. Then you should have given Madame Givry more than 20 minutes notice. Je dis pas que ça rend pas bien. T'es juste, tu sais, pas discrète. I'm not saying you look bad. You are just, you know, conspicuous. Aussi peu discrète que quelqu'un qui commence une bagarre bruyante au milieu d'un bar bondé. As conspicuous as starting a loud fight in the middle of a crowded bar. You know, like they are like getting into each other, you know. He simply grins at this and takes a long drag from his cigarette, watching me as I perch on the stool next to him. His stare is unnerving, now that I'll let him know that. J'espère que tu vas bien avec votre petite amie. Petite amie. I hope everything with your lady friend is alright. Ah, ça? Elle est juste ivre. Oh, that. She was just drunk. I narrow my eyes at him. Et vous ne l'étiez pas? And you are not? Oh, je le suis. Je suis là depuis un moment. Oh, I am. I've been at it for a while. Tu vas devoir rattraper. You should probably catch up. He flashes 2 fingers at the barkeep, who returns with a pair of glasses for us. Ah, rien pour moi. She's like saying, I don't need, you know, oh, none for me. Tu veux te démarquer encore plus? You want to stick out more? Yeah. Qui vient dans un bar et ne boit pas? Like, who comes into a bar and doesn't drink? The barkeep slides us the bottle and Emile pour us each a healthy amount. I begrudgingly accept the glass. Alors, c'est quoi ton nom, princesse? So what is your name, princess? Ah, Lillian. Pas mal. Un peu borsch, mais pas mal. Not bad, a little... yeah, how do you say, like, borsch? It's not posh, but I understand. It's the same meaning. Yes, you can put in the same meaning. A little posh, but not bad. It's just that borsch in here is related to a type of... like a borcherie. A type of you have a name. You have. I'm not there though. Like an extractment of community, how would you say it? Whatever. You do have a name, I don't know, I'm not finding it either, but yeah. Not bad. Who asked you? Like you had like the clerkman, the nobles, and then you had like the la borcherie, I don't know, which was like more related to business, the business people. You do have a name, I don't remember right now, but I hold my tongue. As much as it would please me to tell him off, I won't do so at the cost of my assignment. Ça vous dérange si nous passons à notre chose? Ça vous dérange si nous passons à notre chose? Okay. Do you mind if we just get to it? Okay. Oh, dans un rendez-vous, Lily. Oh, you got somewhere to be, Lily. C'est Lillian. It's Lillian. C'est pas ce que j'ai dit? Wasn't that what I just said? Like, isn't that what I just said? Yeah. It's now very apparent to me why someone would try to destroy a bar top with him around. He leans back and blows his cigarette smoke into the air. I can't believe I was actually looking forward to meeting this person. He's more like the rude, arrogant type of guy. Je me demande pourquoi nous avons été assignés l'un à l'autre. I wonder why we were assigned to each other. Yeah. Qu'est-ce que tu veux dire? What do you mean? I take a sip from my glass, letting the wine linger on my tongue. A direct challenge won't do in this scenario, but the right comment here might get him to focus. Vous semblez avoir une attitude plutôt désinvolte en général. You seem to have a rather casual attitude in general. He scolds at me. Que c'est que tu insinues? What are you implying? Que je prends pas ça au sérieux? That I'm not taking this seriously? I shrug. Envie de parler affaires. Très bien. You want to talk business? Fine. I smile at my little victory. There's a train at 11 tomorrow. I'll have papers for us, false ones. He's talking in English. It's also probably for the others to not understand. We'll cross with those. After that, I think we are expected to find him. I will have to follow your lead on that. Wait, stop. What? I have multiple questions. You speak English? Yes, I speak English. We don't want people to hear, so... How did you know that I speak English? Enfin, they said you were American, but I can tell from your accent. He levels me with a look. Yeah, I kind of like... I don't know, because I never saw like an American talking in French. But I do presume they would have some kind of accent. Like I do have my accent too. I'm not good with French. I'm not that good with French either. But it's also true that when you have like a French person talking in English, they always kind of also have like some kind of an accent too. So, because the two languages, in terms of the guttural sounds that they make, like different. It's, as I said, it's like one rolls more the tongue and the other just creates more the R, you know. So yeah, like one is like a Germanic type of language, the other is a Latin one. So it pricks me that I'm not passing for Parisian as well as I thought. And you are very rushed, impatient. In other words, not very French. He shrugs, enjoying having returned my earlier barb. Even drunk, Emile can give as good as he gets. But I'm not here to play games. He has the information I need. A new strategy is in order.